Sounds too good to be true, but I'm going to make a quick video about how I got 30% off of a house for my first house purchase. So I got this house through the government's First Home scheme. The scheme was launched, I believe, in 2021, and trust me, I'd been looking for it for years, in the sense of, when I first heard about it in lockdown, I was like, this sounds too good to be true. How can you get it? Where do you find them? Etc, etc. And these days I like Google everything. Instead of Googling everything, I TikTok everything, and I couldn't find like many videos apart from like ones from estate agents and stuff just talking about the scheme in general, but I couldn't find many videos of people talking about their actual experience on the scheme, so I thought I'd go through mine. So the idea of the scheme is that it allows people to buy houses in their area where they're usually priced out of. So I live in a really expensive area in the country in the southeast, and it's really difficult to be a first-time buyer and get on the housing ladder because the house prices are just ridiculous. Like, it might be like 450k for a 2-bedroom house, for example. So I was looking out for this scheme for ages, just trying to find one. The one I'm in now isn't even technically in my area. I've had to move half an hour away to be able to have it, but I think it's worth it for getting on the ladder. I think, unlike schemes that are widely available, like shared ownership, Help to Buy when that was around, it's quite hard to find houses that are actually on the scheme. Like, not every development offers it. So keeping your eye out, searching every time there's a new development that comes up in the area or within a certain radius that you'd be happy to move to, checking and maybe giving them a call and seeing, are you going to be doing this scheme? Is this something that you are planning to do in future phases? Just really being on the ball with it. For example, I kind of almost missed the boat for this as I was ignoring this notification I was getting on my phone telling me that the scheme was available, mostly because I've never heard of the area, and I was like, I've never heard of that, I'm not going to go and look at houses in somewhere that I don't know. So by the time I actually was like, oh, let me research where this is, it's half an hour away, let's go and have a look. The house I'm in now is actually the last one. I think there was only 5 of them on the whole development of about 90 houses. So being on the ball is what I would recommend, and just consistently looking out, because that's what I did. Unlike shared ownership, which is probably a more well-known scheme, you don't pay any rent or any additional funds on the part that is discounted. Also, it's freehold instead of leasehold, unless it's a flat, because most flats in the UK are leasehold. But you do own the whole property. You don't have like a landlord, you don't have a housing association, you don't have anyone else involved in your property, which was something that really attracted me, because I was like, I don't know if I want to take on the burden of living in your own house but also having a third party involved. That's not to say I don't understand why people don't do shared ownership. I looked into it myself. I think for a lot of people it's the only way you can get on the housing ladder at the moment. But anyway, I digress. So the criteria for being able to apply for one of these houses, or put an offer in on one of these houses, is you have to be a first-time buyer. If you're buying with a partner, you both have to be a first-time buyer. You have to earn under a certain amount. I'm pretty sure it's £80,000. I think the threshold's slightly higher in London, I'm not sure. You can't earn more than that jointly or individually if you're applying by yourself, and some of them have location restrictions, like you have to already be living within that council or within that area. Luckily this one didn't have that restriction, or I probably wouldn't have been able to get it, to be honest. So it sounds too good to be true, but honestly that's all there is to it. The only other thing is, in the process you have to send a form off to the council, like the local council, who check it to make sure that you fit all the criteria that is outlaid. So if there is a location restriction, they like check the address that you live at now to make sure that you're not lying, and your income, and that you're first time buyers. But after that, that's pretty much it. I had to add a clip in here really quickly just to confirm that you do need everything that you would need in a standard mortgage, such as a deposit. You still need money there for solicitors, all those type of things. So that part of the process is exactly the same as a standard mortgage. I just didn't want anyone to think that was any different. The only differences really are when you comes to sell. So when you're selling the house, you have to sell to another first-time buyer for the same discount amount. So when I say discount amount, I mean the percentage has to be the same. I think some people get confused and think it's like a set price amount, but that's not how it works. So if you bought up the house, the full value of the house was 500k, you got a 50% discount to make it 250k, and that's how much you paid to have the house. When you come to sell it, you have to give the person that you're selling it to, who will be another first-time buyer, the same percentage discount. So say the house value is now 550k, maybe you've stayed there for 5 years, and house prices always seem to go up in this country. So now the value of that 50% of 550k is 275k. So you would also make that extra on your 250k, if that makes sense. So you'd make an extra 25k, and then the discount goes on like that. So the initial purchase is the only one that's capped by an amount to be 250k, and then when you go on to sell to second time, third time, whatever buyers, the discount percentage is the same, but the price changes depending on the property's value at that time. So I've probably been rambling on a little bit long for this video now, but I just feel like when I was looking for it, I couldn't find any videos on TikTok about it, apart from like general informational videos where people are just reading off the Gov website talking about a scheme that's come out, but I hadn't really seen anyone's experiences. So I thought I'd make this video just in case anyone just happens to come across it, and if anyone has any questions. But it's really hard as a young person now to like get a house for yourself in this country. It's near impossible. I also don't think schemes like this, to be honest, are the answer to the housing problems that we have, but we've got to do what we've got to do to get through in life. So